When you truly touch a woman's soul, something extraordinary begins to happen, quietly at first, subtly, almost unnoticeably. It doesn't start with a dramatic moment or a grand confession. It begins in the way her breathing changes around you, in the way her eyes soften when you speak, in the way the tension she has carried for years slowly melts every time she senses your presence. You have to understand something. A woman's emotional walls are rarely built overnight. For most women, those walls were created brick by brick, shaped by disappointments, betrayals, unspoken expectations, and moments where she had to choose strength because no one offered her safety. She has learned to guard her softness, hide her vulnerability, and protect her heart like it was a fragile artifact from a world that never learned how to handle it gently. So when her emotional walls fall, and when they fall effortlessly, it means something powerful has shifted inside her. Not because she was convinced, not because she was persuaded, not because you demanded it, but because her soul recognized something in you that allowed her to exhale. The truth is, a woman doesn't open up because she is weak. She opens because she is finally strong enough to feel safe. Safety is the foundation of emotional surrender, and when a woman feels safe, she naturally begins to release the layers she once believed she needed for survival. You'll notice the shift in small ways first. She will share more. She will laugh more easily. She will let you see her without the mask she shows the world. She will stop overthinking every message she sends and stop analyzing every silence. She will speak to you without rehearsing her thoughts. And she will trust that you understand her, even when she struggles to find the right words. Her conversations with you will move from surface level to soul level. She will start telling you about her insecurities, her childhood memories, the dreams she abandoned, and the pain she never expected to confess to anyone. She will admit the things she once buried, not because she wants pity, but because something inside her whispers, "He sees me." And being seen, truly seen, is one of the most intimate experiences a woman can have. Her emotional walls falling doesn't mean she becomes dependent on you. It doesn't mean she loses herself. It means she feels free enough to be her full self. She becomes softer, not weaker. She becomes more open, not more fragile. She becomes expressive not because she craves attention, but because she feels understood. She begins to trust your intentions. She begins to trust your energy. She begins to trust the space between you, and this trust grows silently. You won't have to ask for it. You won't have to work for it through manipulation or pressure. It arrives naturally when a woman feels emotionally protected. When you touch her soul, her intuition, the very part of her that has always guarded her, relaxes. It stops warning her, stops doubting you, stops reminding her of what went wrong in the past. Her intuition becomes peaceful in your presence because her soul senses something genuine in you, and that is when her walls fall. Not dramatically, not all at once, but gently, like a sunrise melting away the night. You'll see it in the way she looks at you a second too long. You'll hear it in the honesty of her voice. You'll feel it in the softness of her energy. A woman cannot pretend when her soul feels safe. Her emotional openness is the purest sign that you have reached a part of her no one else has touched. Because once a woman feels emotionally secure, she gives you more than her words, she gives you her truth. When you touch a woman's soul, something profound awakens within her, something she cannot fake, cannot force, and cannot hide. It is the moment her emotional truth begins to flow freely without hesitation or fear. She becomes deeply expressive and vulnerable, not because she is fragile, but because she finally feels understood at a level that transcends ordinary connection. For many women, vulnerability is not natural, it is earned. She has spent years learning how to protect her heart, how to appear strong when she feels broken, how to stay silent when her emotions feel too heavy for others to carry. She has mastered the art of keeping her thoughts neatly tucked behind a smile, her worries hidden between polite conversations, her fears disguised as independence. Not because she wants to be distant, but because the world has taught her that not everyone deserves access to her softness. But when you touch her soul, you unlock the part of her that has been waiting to be seen. She begins to express herself in ways she's never allowed herself to before. She becomes open, emotional, honest, and this isn't a sign of weakness. It is a sign of trust, a sign that her heart is unguarded in your presence. You will notice the shift not through dramatic declarations, but through subtle changes. She will start speaking from a place of truth rather than caution. She will tell you what she feels, not what she thinks you want to hear. She will express her affection more freely, her fears more honestly, and her desires more courageously. She begins to allow you into the corners of her mind she once kept locked away. She shares stories she never repeats. She confesses the things that shaped her. She admits the wounds that still ache. Her vulnerability becomes a bridge between her heart and yours. She will open up about the moments in her life that left marks, both beautiful and painful. She will tell you about the dreams she buried because life got in the way, or the insecurities she carries, even though she pretends she doesn't. She will allow you to see the parts of her she once believed were too complex, too heavy, too emotional for someone else to handle. She becomes expressive in her love as well. The way she compliments you becomes deeper. The way she touches you becomes more meaningful. The way she looks at you carries emotion. She doesn't even try to hide. She won't just tell you she cares. She will show it in every gesture, every message, every moment she chooses to be emotionally available. Her vulnerability will show up in her honesty. If something hurts her, she'll say it. If something scares her, she won't pretend. If something inspires her, she'll share it with excitement. The fear of being misunderstood fades because she feels safe being her unfiltered self with you. You become the person she talks to when her day is heavy, the person she calls when she feels anxious, the person she confides in when her soul is loud at 3:00 a.m. or quiet at 5:00 p.m. She doesn't worry about being too much. She doesn't worry about being judged. She trusts the space you create between you, an emotional sanctuary where her heart can exist freely. And this deep expressiveness is not temporary. It becomes consistent, natural, effortless. When a woman allows her soul to be visible, she is offering you the most intimate part of her existence, her emotional truth. Something she doesn't give lightly, something she cannot give without feeling safe. But her vulnerability is not just about sharing. It's also about receiving. She begins to accept love more openly. She lets you support her. She listens to your feelings with empathy rather than fear. She lets your presence calm her, your words guide her, your energy reassure her. This emotional openness creates a bond that cannot be manufactured. Her vulnerability becomes a silent declaration that her heart trusts you enough to stand unshielded. She knows you could hurt her, but she also believes you won't, and that belief is the purest form of intimacy. When a woman becomes deeply expressive and vulnerable, it means you have touched her soul in a place deeper than logic, deeper than attraction, deeper than surface level affection. You have reached the part of her that only opens when love feels like safety. When you touch a woman's soul, her loyalty shifts into something deeper, something unshakable, something that cannot be influenced by distance, distraction, or doubt. Loyalty for her is not just about being physically present or verbally committed. It becomes an emotional vow she makes silently from the most vulnerable part of herself. And once this vow forms, it is not easily broken. You must understand women do not offer loyalty casually. They may offer kindness to many, conversation to some, and attention to a few. But true loyalty, heart-rooted loyalty, is reserved for the man whose energy feels safe, consistent, and soul-aligned. The one who sees her, values her, and touches her essence in a way no one else has. So when her loyalty strengthens beyond surface-level attachment, it is because something in you awakened something in her. It is not about external factors, how much time you spend together, how often you call, how many compliments you give. It is about the inner connection you've created, a connection that makes her soul feel anchored to yours. This kind of loyalty is quiet, steady, and powerful. She becomes loyal in her presence, loyal in her attention, loyal in her choices, loyal even in your absence. She doesn't waver when things get confusing. She doesn't pull back when life becomes chaotic. She doesn't let fear or insecurity diminish what she feels. Instead, her loyalty becomes the force that holds the connection steady when everything else around it becomes unstable. Her loyalty manifests in the way she communicates. She will be honest with you even when it's uncomfortable. She will check in on you, not out of obligation, but out of genuine care. She will listen to you with intention, remembering the details of your struggles, your dreams, your patterns. She pays attention not because she must, but because she chooses to. Surface level attachment disappears when a woman's soul is touched. She no longer feels the need to test you, question you, or compare you to others. Her loyalty becomes instinctive. It becomes her natural emotional response to how deeply she feels connected to you, and this loyalty isn't passive. It's active, alive, and expressive. She begins investing in the relationship not just emotionally, but mentally and spiritually. She becomes committed to its growth, its stability, and its future. She adapts, compromises, learns, and evolves not because you ask her to, but because her soul feels safe enough to expand within the space you've created. Her loyalty also shows in the way she defends the connection. She protects it from negativity, from gossip, from outside influence. She doesn't entertain what could weaken it. She nurtures what makes it stronger. She will stand by you in your vulnerable moments, not just your victories. She will support your vision, not just your comfort. She will walk with you through challenges, not just celebrations. When a woman's loyalty becomes soul-driven, she becomes your partner in every sense, not just romantically, but emotionally and spiritually. She begins seeing the connection as a team, not a temporary arrangement. She cares about your growth as much as her own. She includes you in her long-term thinking. She plans with you, not around you. And the beauty of soul-rooted loyalty is this. It isn't fragile, it isn't conditional, it doesn't disappear at the first sign of difficulty. Loyalty becomes her love language. It appears in the way she prioritizes you, in the way she stays consistent, in the way she shows up again and again, even when life becomes unpredictable. Her loyalty deepens because her heart feels protected, because her soul feels recognized, because her emotions feel valued. Only then does she allow herself to attach in a way that goes far beyond the surface. This is the kind of loyalty that cannot be bought, forced, or manipulated. It can only be earned through sincerity, consistency, and emotional safety. When you touch her soul, you don't just gain her interest, you gain her allegiance. Not in a possessive way, but in a soulful way. You become the person she stands with, grows with, and believes in even when things get hard. Because when a woman's loyalty strengthens beyond the surface, it is a sign that her heart has chosen, her intuition has confirmed, and her soul has settled. When you touch a woman's soul, something shifts so deeply within her that even she can't fully explain it. She begins to feel a sense of safety in your presence that she has not felt in years, maybe not ever. And this safety has nothing to do with physical protection, with what you own, or with what you can give. It is a safety born from emotional consistency, energetic stability, and the peace she feels when she is near you. A woman's safe place is not created through grand gestures. It is created through how you make her feel when you say nothing at all. Safety to her means she doesn't have to perform, she doesn't have to pretend, she doesn't have to hide parts of herself to be accepted. She doesn't have to shrink her emotions, silence her instincts, or guard her heart. She can exist exactly as she is, raw, emotional, expressive, imperfect, and still feel valued. When your presence becomes her safe place, she breathes differently around you. She relaxes without realizing it. Her shoulders drop, her mind quiets, her heart stops bracing for impact. Your presence becomes a refuge from a world that constantly demands strength from her. This kind of safety doesn't come from your words alone. It comes from your energy. She senses stability in you. She feels grounded when you speak. Your tone calms her. Your honesty reassures her. Your patience melts her inner tension. The way you show up consistently becomes a rhythm her soul begins to trust. She starts to associate you with peace. The peace she searched for in people who never offered it. The peace she needed on nights she cried herself to sleep. The peace she didn't think she would find in another human being. When she is overwhelmed, your presence, whether physical or emotional, helps her regulate. She can talk to you without fearing judgment. She can cry without fearing rejection. She can confess her fears without bracing for disappointment. You become the person she calls when her thoughts feel heavy, the person she opens up to when her heart feels tender, the person she confides in when the world feels too loud. Your presence becomes her grounding point. Even your silence comforts her because she knows your silence doesn't mean withdrawal. It doesn't mean disinterest. It means safety, being able to sit in stillness without pressure, without expectation, without fear of losing connection. A woman's safe place is built through small, consistent behaviors. The way you listen to understand, not to respond. The way you remember the things she says. The way you never dismiss her emotions. The way you speak to her with respect even during conflict. The way you reassure her without being asked. Your presence becomes a space where her nervous system feels at ease. And that is not something she takes lightly because women often carry silent burdens, overthinking, emotional fatigue, memories of past hurt, fear of being abandoned, fear of repeating cycles. But when you touch her soul, she doesn't fear losing you. She doesn't fear being misunderstood. She doesn't fear being too much. She doesn't fear vulnerability. She begins to seek your presence, not out of dependency, but out of genuine emotional comfort. She wants to be near you because your energy feels like home, not a house, not a room, a feeling, a state of being, a sense of belonging. Your presence becomes the one place she doesn't have to be strong, the one place she doesn't have to overthink, the one place she doesn't feel alone, and this connection becomes something sacred to her. She cherishes it. She protects it, she values it with her whole heart because a safe place is rare, a safe man is rare, and a safe love even rarer. The more she feels safe with you, the more she expresses her true self. The more she lets you into her world, the more she trusts your guidance, your intentions, your soul. She feels safe. Not because you are perfect, but because you are present emotionally, energetically, authentically. When your presence becomes her safe place, you are no longer just someone she loves. You are someone her soul rests in. When you touch a woman's soul, the way she responds to you changes on a deeper, more intuitive level. She doesn't merely react, she aligns. She doesn't mirror you because she feels pressured, obligated, or afraid to lose you. She mirrors you because her spirit recognizes yours. Her energy begins to reflect yours in the most natural, intentional way, creating harmony instead of imbalance, flow instead of friction. People often mistake mirroring for imitation, but soulful mirroring is completely different. It isn't about copying your behavior like some predictable emotional echo. It's about matching the rhythm of your authenticity, responding to the tone of your presence, and aligning with the emotional truth you bring into the connection. A woman mirrors you with intention when she feels emotionally safe and spiritually connected. She observes the way you move through the world, not to judge, but to understand. She feels your energy not to compete, but to connect. She listens to your words not to disagree, but to comprehend the heart behind them. When you show her consistency, she responds with consistency. When you move with patience, she softens into patience. When you express openness, she opens without fear. When you give effort, she invests with sincerity. Her mirroring becomes a dance, not a duty. This kind of synchronization happens only when her soul feels honored by yours. She senses your intentions, she senses your emotional tone, she senses whether your actions come from love or ego. And when she feels the purity in the way you show up for her, she naturally reflects that same purity back. If you communicate clearly, she begins to communicate clearly. If you show love without hesitation, she loves without hesitation. If you lead with honesty, she meets you with honesty. She matches the energy you give because she wants to, not because she feels she has to. This is the beauty of soul-level relationships. Nothing is forced. She mirrors your emotional investment. She mirrors your spiritual pace. She mirrors your growth mindset. She mirrors your peace, not to please you, but because she feels aligned with you. And you must understand, women are naturally intuitive. They feel men more than they hear them. They read energy more accurately than words. So if your energy is chaotic, inconsistent, or unclear, she won't mirror that. She will withdraw from it. But when your energy is steady, nurturing, and grounded, she leans into it with trust. Her mirroring is not compliance. It is connection, not submission. It is synchrony, not dependency. It is emotional resonance. She mirrors with intention. She becomes your emotional partner, not your follower. She rises with you. She grows with you. She adapts to you in a way that keeps the relationship balanced and harmonious. Soulful mirroring also reveals how deeply she is attuned to you. She begins to understand your moods before you explain them. She senses your needs before you speak them. She becomes more attentive to your well-being not as a responsibility, but as a natural emotional response. Your passions excite her, your calm settles her, your ambition motivates her, your vulnerability invites hers. Her mirroring becomes a reflection of how deeply she values the bond. She observes how you treat her and responds with the same level of devotion. She sees how you love her and nurtures you with the same tenderness. She sees how you protect the connection and protects it with equal effort. This kind of reciprocity creates a relationship where neither person carries the emotional weight alone. She mirrors your leadership in the relationship by contributing equally, not through imitation, but through intention. Her mirroring becomes a silent message. I see you, I feel you, I choose to match you. The key is this. Her mirroring isn't a reaction, it's a decision, a choice rooted in how deeply she feels connected to your soul. A woman mirrors intentionally only when the man's energy is something her heart trusts. And when that happens, she becomes a partner who reflects your higher self back to you. Your strength inspires her strength. Your softness awakens her softness. Your effort amplifies her effort. Your love deepens her love. In the end, when you truly touch her soul, everything that follows is a reflection of what she feels in the deepest parts of herself. Her walls fall, her heart opens, her loyalty strengthens, her vulnerability becomes a bridge, and your presence becomes her peace. These are not coincidences, these are not accidents, these are the natural reactions of a woman who finally feels safe enough to love without fear and express without limits. A soul connection doesn't happen often. It doesn't happen with everyone. It happens when two energies recognize each other long before the mind can explain it. And when that kind of connection appears, it deserves to be honored, not controlled, not rushed, not taken for granted. Because a woman who trusts you with her soul is giving you something sacred, something rare, something powerful. She is choosing you not with her loneliness, not with her longing, but with her truth, and that truth becomes the foundation of a love that is steady, intentional, and deeply aligned. So as you stand in front of her heart, understand the weight of what you are holding. Understand the responsibility of being the person she feels safe with. Understand the privilege of being the place her soul rests, because in the end, soul connection is not about winning her. It's about keeping her safe. It's not about possession. It's about protection. It's not about promises. It's about presence. And when your presence becomes her peace and her love becomes your strength, that is when two souls stop searching and finally start living together in truth, in trust, and in alignment.